I'm Raymond. You're watching RPadTV, and I'm joined by the excellent Paul Semel. And we're going to talk about Star Trek Starfleet Academy. Paul, what lovely toy do you have there?
I don't know where I got this, but it is the Orion slave girl from the original thing. And normally when I have it displayed, I have a tiny little tricorder from the Star Trek Monopoly board, which I don't know where I got the tricorder from, but I put that in her hand.
That's excellent. How are you doing today?
I'm good. Friend? It's super oppressively hot here in Los Angeles.
Yeah. In Vegas, I think we're going to get our first 100-degree day tomorrow.
They think we're going to get that as well. And I don't mean like out in the valley. Like I think they mean like,
in the city here in Hollywood. Proper. That's crazy. Yeah. Like previously, the earliest 100-degree day here was in May. So
oh, wow.
It's not even spring yet, and it's already summer. So do with that what you want. But Paul, let us kick things off with our usual Blue Sky reviews. I had it, so we're setting our phasers to fun. Love that. So please kick us off.
Okay. Oh, okay, good. I was going to have to go pull up my Blue Sky account. Not everybody liked Star Trek Starfleet Academy, and some of them actually had legitimate reasons, not bullshit Star Trek has gone woke crap. Me, I liked it. Come here, why, when I blah, 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 and it's a plug for this thing.
Can't even spell my name right. God damn it, Paul.
What do you mean?
My name has a Y in it.
Oh, sorry.
What? But yes, I very much agree with your point. There are definitely reasons not to like this show, but I definitely enjoyed myself. I wrote Starfleet Academy Season 1 isn't the sharpest Star Trek has ever been. The writing can be dim, and the cheese factor is real. But the characters won me over. Divisive? Sure. Did I have fun? Absolutely. Excited for Season 2. So I wanted to give everyone some background on our Trek credentials. You are much more of a Star Trek fan than I am, although I'm a big TNG fan. I love the old movies and the new movies, even the J.J. Abrams excessive lens flare ones. People dog on those, but I enjoyed the first two quite a bit. Third one was not quite as good, but yeah, I enjoy Star Trek quite a bit. Not as much as I enjoy Star Wars, but give the people out there your background with Star Trek.
You'll understand this. I started watching Star Trek when I was a kid, and WPIX Channel 11 in New York City started showing the reruns after school, and I probably watched every single episode of that original series like 8,000 times. I am a Trekkie. I'm a Trekker. I'm Trek-ish. I'm Trek-curious. Whatever you want to call me.
You're bisexual.
Trek-sexual. I've watched every single show. I've played tons of the games. I've read one of the books, but that's beside the fact. I've read a lot of the comic books. I've seen all the movies. Definitely have my favorites and least favorites, but yeah, I'm with everybody on this. I'm in for the long run.
I mean, for me, the next TNG is the pinnacle of Star Trek for my personal taste. How about for you? What series or movies?
I mean, the original series is still my favorite. The other ones that I really love, Deep Space Nine, Discovery. In terms of the movies, I really like the J.J. Abrams ones, and then as for the old school ones, I like I really like the trilogy, the unintentional trilogy, with 2, 3, and 4.
Yeah.
Generations is really good. First Contact is really good.
Yeah.
As for the shows, Next Generation is like one of my least favorite ones, actually. But I like, I think somewhere in the middle is where you'll find Enterprise and Voyager for me, and also the comedic one, Lower Decks, which I think got better as it went.
Yeah.
And one of the ones that I really like that I'm not supposed to like because of my age is Prodigy, which was the cartoon they did, which was supposed to be like Star Trek for kids, but it ended up being kind of almost like a weird Voyager sequel, but with kids. And I don't think it was nearly as juvenile as like as anybody thought it was going to be, which may be why it didn't like go over well. I don't know, but
So Starfleet Academy is, for me, the most different Star Trek show that I've seen, partially because the setting, partially because of the cast. It's primarily young actors,
right.
and they're obviously students at Starfleet Academy, ergo
Yeah.
the name.
Yes.
But to me, my favorite part of the show were the characters. Let's go through some of your favorite or least favorite characters, starting with the students, because they are what the show is about. Who stood out for you, good and bad?
So the ones that stood out, Sam, played by Carice, I just adored her.
Yeah.
And she is a character. Now, I'll be honest, her, like, she's just a ball of energy. I could see her being annoying. If somebody said, like, yeah, she was too much, she got on my nerves, I was like, yeah, I get that. But I didn't.
Is supposed to, though, for
right. And that's what she's supposed to be, literally and figuratively. Because she's made of photonic energy.
Yes.
But I thought she was adorable. I thought she was such a sweetheart. I thought the actress who plays Sam was just fantastic in that role. I really, really loved them a lot. Zoe Steiner, who played Tarima, the Beta Z, I also really, really liked her a lot. I thought she was, you're supposed to play a character who is overwhelmingly emotional, but we need you to like pretend that there's like a thing holding you back, and it doesn't
literally
literally hold you back, and it doesn't always work. I thought she was really, really cool. I liked Bella Shepherd as Genesis.
Yeah, I kind of wanted more from her.
I wanted more of her. We'll get into that. Although I got to tell you, in that last episode, when Tig Notaro's character is like, okay, you take the con, and she gets up and the music swells and she stands in front of the chair and then she sits down and it's like this triumphant moment, and then all of a sudden the music just stops and she goes, I think I gotta pee.
Yeah.
I loved that moment. And in that moment I was like, okay, this is a character I want to see more of.
Yeah, I mean, for the students, I really liked all of them to different degrees. Even the ones that had smaller roles, like Akam, Charina's brother.
Yeah.
Like he didn't have a lot to do, but he made the most of what he was supposed to be, like the goofy brother, provide some comic relief at times. But when they needed him to display empathy in the R-Town episode, I thought he was great at that.
Yes, he was good in the little bits you got to see of him.
Yeah,
as playing like the little brother. Yeah, I think it was little brother. I also like there was the one guy. I'm drawing a blank on his name. The guy who was like super Mr. Badass, like blah 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 blah. Who was supposed to be annoying. I was like, oh, you're doing a very good job. You're super annoying.
Darum?
Yeah, I couldn't remember the guy's name. Yeah, that guy. Yeah, like
I thought
he was supposed to be like a putz, and he was very good at being a putz.
I wasn't getting like badass from him. I was getting like entitled, rich.
Well, no, I mean like he thought he was a badass,
right?
Like he thought he was all that in a bag of chips, and it's like, no, you're not.
Yeah, but I mean, and even the way they turned his character, and they made him connect with the other characters.
Yeah.
Or when they went back to his home world, they showed that he wasn't like that at all around his friends and family from his planet.
Yeah.
The character that's getting the most stick from the vocal online haters is Jaden, but his voice was kind of like, dude, someone get this guy a laxative. But I really liked the way he performed. I really enjoyed the 2 episodes that focused on him a bit more.
Yeah.
cosine, the one we were talking about with Darum's wedding, but also the one where they talk about his background. So
Right.
I kind of see why some people, longtime fans, don't like him. We'll get more into that later, but I really liked him. Also, he is astonishingly tall, as is Caleb, who we haven't really talked about, the ostensible lead of this show. But was
Yeah.
he? Like,
I mean, he was sort of supposed to be, but I like, of all the kids, and we can use that word because we're old, he was kind of the like, he wasn't like bad or anything. He was just not my like favorite. Like, he
right.
was not the one that I was like, oh, you're super cool, I want to hang out with you. Like okay. Like, he served a very important purpose.
Yeah.
And his arc was this season was a good one. It drove the show and tied a lot of it together, but like, he wasn't like the most interesting character to me out of that bunch. But that says more about Sam and Tarima and Genesis than it does about his character.
Yeah, like we've seen the badass orphan that doesn't want to be disciplined, the bad boy kind of character. But if we go back to Sam, like the artificial life forms that we've seen in the show, or the ones that are supposed to be robotic, it's a nice evolution going from Spock in the original series, who's supposed to be robotic and emotionless. Then we move on to Data, who is actually artificial but trying to be human, and Sam, who is just she's more of a kid than the kids were, and I love that about her.
She was definitely the least mature of the bunch.
Right. She was only 209 days old, man.
Yeah. Yeah. But and her episodes were just super good too.
I will slightly disagree with that later when we talk about our favorite scenes and episodes. But let's move on to the faculty.
Okay.
I think you too. I'm such a mark for Laura. I think she's such a cool character.
Oh my God. I'm a fan of Gina Yashiri from when she was on Bob Hart's Abishola.
Yeah.
And I watched one of her comedy specials and she's hilarious. She was so funny in this, and in a just such a dry, like angry kind of way. But somebody who was like angry and then would turn around and smile to somebody else because like she wasn't really angry, she was just pretending to be angry to fuck with the kids.
Yeah. And she is half Klingon after all.
Yes.
So, but yeah, I love that. I also love that she's the gym teacher at the school. That's so fitting. But yeah, I loved her, like her humor and the way she was written. It made me want more of the character, which is always a good thing.
Yeah.
And maybe we'll get more of her in season 2. I hope so. But I also have that fear that maybe, is there such a thing as too much Laura? I don't know, but I want to find out because I definitely want to see.
I mean, I think not in this context, no, because it's an ensemble.
Yeah.
Like, I think if there was an Allura show, maybe. And I think you could say the same thing for Tig Notaro's character. Like, I think, if like those two went off and had like a 10-episode adventure, like that might be a bit much. But like Tig's character is just so good in this. It's a character she played in
Discovery,
right? And was so the same, like that same sense of humor. And the two of them together was, I mean, that whole scene where they're talking about like going out to dinner.
Yeah.
And it didn't move the plot at all, but it was
awesome.
Just fucking hilarious. And she's like, I want Coco.
I love that Tig, originally her character was Denise Reno, but she got it changed to Jet as an homage to Joan Jett, which is super. Right. I think Tig Notaro is awesome. I've always loved her stand-up.
Yes. And the Reno comes from Janet Reno.
Ah.
So, yeah.
So who the hell was Denise?
I don't know.
Of
course, she doesn't look like a Denise, though.
Let's talk about Chancellor / Captain Ake,
Yes.
who is the main adult of the show. This was interesting because I really like she's a teacher, she's a badass captain, she has that motherly vibe. Just hearing her voice reminded me of her playing Elastigirl in the Incredibles.
Yeah.
So I could definitely see her as being the perfect person to run a school. And I also loved her contrast in height, because what is she, like 5 foot nothing? And
yes, she's very tiny. And I know this for a fact because I was at Barnes and Noble a few months ago, and she was in line right behind me. And I was like, wow, she's a tiny little lady.
And when you see her next to Caleb or Jaden, it almost looks like they're like 2 feet taller than her. Like,
yeah.
I think we have that one. See, well, Jaden's not there, but even Sam, who isn't particularly tall, looks like she's towering over.
Yeah.
Her. What did you think of her character?
I liked her character. I thought, I know people, again, we're going to talk about this again, but people had issues with the fact that she would put her feet up on the table and she's walking around with no shoes and whatever. And she's very much a free spirit. And I can't really picture Holly Hunter in playing a typical
straight up by the book.
Yeah. No, it doesn't. But it made for first of all, it made a really nice contract for the guy who was in charge of the War College.
Oh,
and for the guy who's in charge of Starfleet, the dude,
yes,
Brian
Kelrick. Yeah, Kelrick's in charge of the War Academy, which is weird because I'm like, why is this dweeb in charge of the War Academy?
Yeah. I really liked her, and because the thing is, she's supposed to be the adult running a school more than she's the captain of a starship.
Right.
Because
when she goes in that role, she kicks ass at that too. So.
Yes, she does. She does step up. But the point was, this is supposed to be about college kids in a college, and she's supposed to be the dean. She's not the commander of a spaceship going out and,
right,
doing things. And there's that whole episode where they go and they're like, okay, we're going to go, and there's an abandoned spaceship, and you're going to do a mission.
Right.
They didn't go into that thinking they're going to get attacked. They're like, oh, it's just a spaceship. We're going to go and you're going to do your thing, and then we're going to go home and have pie. And so, I thought she was really good. I mean, but you are right. When she needed to sort of step up, when she was, facing down Paul Giamatti, she held her own.
Oh yeah.
And I don't mean that in an acting sense, because we know what a good actor she can be. Yes. But just in a someone having to stand up to somebody like that as a character.
So I didn't mind her casualness with the captain's chair or furniture in general. The barefoot thing was just kind of weird because I'm like, that's just unsanitary. I don't understand what you're doing. I couldn't picture like a informal general or something walking around the barracks barefoot. That doesn't make sense to me. Going back, I forgot, this is the height contrast I mentioned. I mean, that's so funny.
Right.
He literally looks like he's 2 feet taller than her.
Yeah. I wonder if they cast her in this because I forget what the name of her species is, but the only other person that we've met from her species is played by Carol Kane, who is on Discovery, who also has a very sort of loose, flighty thing about her. And I wonder if maybe they think that's what this race is like, because they're so long lived, they just don't care.
They're supposed to be like hippies. Sorts. I mean, for me, the most distracting thing about the character was her name, because I'm a Manchester City fan. So when I hear Nala Ake, Man City has a defender named Nathan Ake. So they look nothing alike.
No.
as you can see. But in my head, when I hear Ake, I think of this man instead of this woman.
Right. I
So
understand that.
yeah,
Yeah, he looks more Klingon than
he does.
whatever that. Yeah.
So we got to talk about the bad guy in this, Braca, played by Paul Giamatti, who he's one of my favorite actors. And it's interesting because they gave him the first 5 scripts to do a guest role, and he's like, pick whatever guest role you want. And he's like, no, I want to play Braca. I'm like, whoa, that's cool.
Yeah, he was like, he's like, I love Star Trek. I want to do the show, but I don't want to just come on and do like a cameo. Like, I want a role in the show. And in fact, I think they said that he's not going to be in the second season, but they're already working on a way of bringing him back because he wants to come back and they want him to come back.
I thought he was fantastic, but I'm a big mark for Paul Giamatti. To me, he was one of those bad guys that you're kind of rooting for because he's so cool and fun. Even though he's wrong, I part of me was rooting for him because he's Paul Giamatti. What did you think of Braca?
I mean, I wasn't rooting for him, but I was like enjoying his time. Like, you know what I mean? Like I wanted him to be defeated and I wanted someone to punch him in the face, but I didn't, but he was just a lot of fun to watch. And
yeah, I thought he was manic, charming. He's not, you're pretty sure he's a bit insane.
Yeah.
We didn't see too much of her, but we got to give a shout out to Caleb's mom, played by She-Hulk.
Oh yeah.
I know you're a big fan of this actor, as am I. So I thought she did great in the. Yes. I think she was only in 3 episodes. If I'm not
she was in the first episode, and then she turned up like at
the last. End. Yeah.
And never once lost her cool and turned green.
Yes.
Unlike some people.
Yeah. So now that we talked a bit about the characters, let's talk about specific scenes and episodes. I take it you're a big fan of the 2 Sam episodes.
I like the 2 Sam episodes a lot. I mean, the one where she goes back to the home planet.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, that episode was as much about the Doctor as it was about her. And it was a good opportunity for the Doctor to have a good, meaty story about,
And boy, did he ever. I loved his performance in that episode. My God.
Yeah. But I'm a big Deep Space Nine fan. So that first big episode with Sam, where, she goes and looks into the myth of the Cisco and all this stuff, I thought was really, really cool. And I was sitting there like, are they going to actually get Avery Brooks to come back and like turn up? And I kind of liked that they didn't. Like, I liked that they were like, yeah, he's still somewhere.
Yeah. See, when we were talking about Sam annoying some viewers, that she was a little too much for me in that episode. I enjoyed it still, but I'm like, you're at an 11. She was you at a 9.
She was very, especially in the beginning.
Yes.
With all the animations and all this stuff and whatnot. I could definitely see somebody, especially somebody of our age, being like, it was so like TikTok. It was so Snapchat and of the moment and whatnot, which is sort of funny to say about a show set 900 years in the future. But like,
see, when they do stuff like that in Ms. Marvel, I still found it charming. Whereas this, it was just a little too much for me.
Yeah, it did remind me of that scene like at the very beginning of the Marvels when like she's doing the animation and stuff and like and whatnot. Yeah, that didn't bother me.
But that episode on Cask, that's such a good episode. Because of both things going on, because they're doing the play. I like both the A and B stories on that. Like for me, Sam is great as being part of an A story, like she was in that episode, or being the focus of a B story. That's why in her episode that was, I liked it, but I didn't enjoy it as much as some of the others.
Yeah. I also liked in the Our Town episode that they brought Tilly back, who's
Yes.
another character from Discovery. And it was interesting because when you first meet her in Discovery, she's kind of Sam-ish. Like, she's very unsure of herself. She doesn't like know what she's doing and is sort of second guessing herself. And then she comes into this episode and she's like, I got this, like, I'm in charge.
Yep.
Okay. And much more assured person, which shows the growth of the character, which was very fitting, I thought.
I really liked Jaden's flashback episode, especially his relationship with his brother. You know more about Klingon culture than I do, but is it common for Klingons to have multiple parents? Like, he had two fathers and a mother?
I don't remember them ever, I don't remember ever having anybody talk about Klingon parentage being not male female before.
Right.
And I think that was one of the things that people had a problem with this character was that, and the fact that he is gay. But
yeah.
But the thing, and this is the problem that I had with the people who had problem with it, and I'm going to somewhat contradict myself based on what I just said about Holly Hunter's character and her race, is Klingons are not a monolith. No race is.
Right.
And the problem that people seem to have is, you've said all along that this is what Klingons are like, and now you're saying they're not like this. And it's funny because there was an episode of Strange New Worlds where Patton Oswalt plays a Klingon, and he is not logical at all. He is emotional, and he loves Earth culture.
Wait, and you meant he played a Vulcan?
He played a Vulcan. Yeah, sorry. He played a Vulcan who was not logical, who was emotional, who did not speak in that way, and
I mean, it's Patton Oswalt. I can't
picture him. Well, exactly. And he was super into Earth culture, and he changed his name to something like Bob or whatever. And for some reason, Rebecca Romijn's character was madly lusting at, they had this weird thing where they were fuck buddies.
Oh, I need to watch that now.
It was so good. But it was, again, it was an episode that was criticized because you're like, well, Klingons, the Vulcans that we've seen aren't like that. Well, we haven't seen all of them.
Right.
You've never seen there has to be, we know, we've never actually met one, but we know there must be Klingon artists because there's Klingon opera.
Right. But I loved how Jaden was a pacifist and he wanted to be a healer.
Yeah.
And I love that his brother encouraged him to do that. And later in that episode, I loved how Laura got him to realize that being a warrior can take place in many forms. It doesn't just have to be physical combat. You know?
Yeah. And I also really liked how they kind of showed him that, your dad wasn't actually being a dick. Your dad was kind of setting you free, even though it meant maybe never seeing you again.
Right. And that, that's another case where Laura is just awesome because getting him to realize that his, Klingons don't miss when they're angry. So his father probably missed on purpose to let him go and pursue being a healer.
Yeah.
Which, I thought that was great. The finale, really the last two episodes.
Yeah.
That felt more like traditional Star Trek to me, especially when they're on the ship and everyone had, the roles we knew, like Darum was the pilot, Tarima was the comms. So that felt more familiar and comfortable. And I like how they tied it up after 8 episodes of being, a college drama.
Yeah. But it's also so typically Star Trek that it doesn't necessarily or entirely end with people beating the shit out of each other, but instead them in a courtroom setting, basically. And Holly Hunter basically picking apart Paul Giamatti's argument and stuff.
it was your dad, stupid. Basically,
Yeah.
you dumb bastard. Your
Yeah.
dad destroyed the planet. Any other episodes or scenes stand out for you? There was one mention in episode 1 where Stephen Colbert, he plays the digital dean, so
Right.
he's only a disembodied voice. But when he was talking about the commissary and he said something along the lines like, "Sometimes the real enemy is hanger." Just that was,
his lines were very funny. Especially there was like this whole like weird
oh,
running gag with
the
like
guy losing his pet.
yeah. His stuff was really good. I'm trying to think. We kind of covered. I mean, we covered the Tig Notaro, all that stuff with Tig Notaro and the peeing line. And
Well, let's talk about, what did you think of the Caleb Tarima romance? Some people thought it was a bit too CW.
I mean, look, that's what this. Okay. We kind of touched upon this already, but look, for years people said they wanted a show about Starfleet Academy.
Right.
So they said, okay, we're going to make a show about Starfleet Academy. But who goes to Starfleet Academy? College kids. And are
Right.
they going to go on space adventures? No. Are they going to have interpersonal relationship adventures? Yes. Are they going to fuck like bunnies? Like college kids do? Yes. So, I mean, complaining about this kind of stuff, like, okay, like, you know, it's, let me put it to you this way. I love the Resident Evil games. I do not love turn-based strategy games.
Yes.
If Capcom said we're making a turn-based strategy Resident Evil game, I'd be like, okay, I'm not going to play it, but I'm also not going to go online and bitch about it. It is what it is. I don't have to play it. I'll play the next one. And that's kind of how I felt about people arguing about their relationship. Their relationship seemed very real to me. I liked how it got complicated. I thought it was really interesting, and real, and I had no problem with it. And I also really liked what may or may not have been a reference to Alien in the basketball scene.
Yeah. She was getting kind of annoying to me in the second half, where after she had her trauma, and after all, I was like, come on, get over yourself, girl. Like, I've seen all this like whiny Jean Grey crap like 10 times over. Like, it's like, do something interesting. And maybe that's how I'm supposed to feel about her, because it's not a fault of the writing or the actor, who I also really enjoyed. But yeah, I'm like, come on, get over it already. And she does, not as quickly as I would have liked, but yeah, over the course of 10 episodes, she definitely had.
I mean, she did kill a whole shitload of people.
I think she should be proud of it. They weren't all good people.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, the trauma of something like that happening to someone that young. So yeah, I get that.
I mean, I think it would have been just as bad if she got over it too quickly.
Yeah, that's,
you know what I mean. Well. If like the next episode she's like, "Hi," like it would have been like,
who wants to get burgers?
Yeah. You know?
I get that.
Or if they had skipped over it, like if they had said like, you know, she came 6 months later, she comes back and, "No, I'm fine. I saw a therapist. I got a bunch of gummies. I'm all good." You know, that wouldn't have worked either.
So let's talk about characters or plots that were maybe undercooked. We both mentioned Genesis.
Yes.
Enjoying the character but wanting more from her. What do you mean by that in particular?
I felt there wasn't an episode where she was the center of attention.
Well, the spring break episode, maybe, where she's, you know, they broke into.
Yeah, but not in the way that you know, some of the other characters had, like how Sam had like her 2 episodes.
Yeah.
But and in fact, I know, not that anyone will listen to me, but I have the perfect person to play her mom.
Who's that?
Do you know who Vanessa Vanessa Lashley is?
Not off the top of my head.
She was on NCIS Hawaii. Vanessa Lachey. Sorry, she's married to Nick Lachey.
Oh, well, I don't like her for that already.
Yeah, but like if you see her, especially like it's funny, like Bella doesn't look like her normally, but when she's got those like the different eyebrows, she looks like her a lot. I would like to see like an episode that is sort of more centric. So they alluded to.
She has an admiral dad.
Yeah, her dad is an admiral. And that almost seems like it would be too obvious of an episode. Like, I feel like we've seen that story of like your dad is like this, Titanic figure you have to live up to. But I'd like to see a story with her.
Kirk from,
Right. Yeah. Like, I would like to see like an episode of like her and her mom or something like that, or something with her and her past, like an episode that is as centralized around her as the Sam episodes were, and this etc.
Right. How about for any of the staff? I mean, we're both big fans of Laura. Was this the right amount of Laura, or
I would like to know her backstory, because again, this was a point of contention with people, because they were like, well, she's half oh God.
Yes, I can pronounce like half of these races, but I
yeah,
know what you mean.
But like it was a character that was Jem'Hadar.
Yes,
that's what it was. So she's half Jem'Hadar on her father's side, and like Jem'Hadar, for people who don't know, they were characters that were introduced in Deep Space Nine. They're a warrior race, but they were genetically designed to only be men. They don't live very long, and they're addicted to this stuff called Ketracel White. Because God, the very subtle heroin reference. And people were like, well, then how did a female one come about? And it's like, well, okay, first of all, it's been 900 years. A lot can change. They could have been genetically modified. Like, it also said that she's the half that's female was Klingon. But how did her parents how did those two meet? Like, what's the story there? Like, why does she have a British accent? Like,
why not?
Why does she have like a thick ass British accent?
So up until the second Sam episode, I thought the Doctor was a bit underutilized, because he's such a great character that a lot of people know from. He was on Voyager.
Yeah, Voyager.
And I don't know. In my head, I always have this vision of meeting him in real life and saying "Domo arigato, Robert Picardo," just because it would make me happy. But I mean, when he did get his time to shine in that second Sam episode, that might have been my favorite performance in the whole season. He was just so good. But yeah, up until that point, I thought he was underutilized. The team of the Athena, we didn't get to see too much of them. I wanted to see more of Lieutenant Ya, played by Rebecca Quinn, who wrestling fans know as Becky Lynch. Many say she is the best woman wrestler of all time. And then it's not just me saying it. Sports Illustrated is saying it. Bleacher Report is saying it. Other people are saying it. So I thought they could have done with more with her, because she didn't have many lines, and the lines she did have, anyone could have done those. They didn't necessarily need the best woman wrestler ever.
Right.
So I could have used more Lieutenant Ya in my life.
I would have also liked if they had brought more of the Discovery people back as well. I really like the having Tilly for one episode was cool, but like I thought she was going to be in it. I actually thought she was going to be the star of the show. Like,
really?
When I originally read about the show, like they were talking about it like she was going to be a teacher at the school. Like, I thought she was going to be in a lot more episodes.
I mean, we did have 3 from Discovery, right? We had Tilly. The Admiral was on Discovery as well.
Yeah, the Admiral and
Joan and Janet Reno.
Yes. Yeah. But it would have been, I mean, those people are still there. So I
Yeah.
did like when they made reference to the Discovery, and they were like, hey, why can't we get Discovery to do that? And then they were like, oh, we can't because of,
Right.
science. I did like that, but
Yeah. We do have a lot more other ground to cover, but before we get to that, Paul, can we get an update on what's going on with your website, man?
certainly lots of good stuff. A lot of good book stuff this last couple weeks. But there's a couple things I wanted to highlight. Earlier this week, I put up my review of Starship Troopers Ultimate Bug Hunt.
Yes.
Which is a sort of a Quake-ish first-person shooter based on the classic 1997 or cult classic from 1997. It is very much an old school game. It very much feels like what the game would have been like if it had come out like the same time as the movie. With one big exception, which is back then, like, everybody made very linear levels, and in this one you're set in like very big open areas and there are multiple objectives. So that was kind of cool. The only thing that I didn't like was they also had missions where you played as a bug. And it didn't really work. Those were kind of boring. So, but the human missions, which there's a lot more of, mind you, and they're not integrated. It's not like you play 3 human missions and then go play a bug mission. Like, they're separated on the menu. But so yeah, so that came out Tuesday, I think. And then I also did a review of the new Grace Under Pressure box set from Rush, one of my favorite bands.
Yes.
For people who aren't familiar with this box set, it has a version of the album. It has a live concert from the tour, which they had previously released on home video, but for some reason the video was only an hour long, so it only had like a dozen out of 20 songs. And now what they've done is they've put out the complete concert, which is cool because it's got, like, for some reason they cut subdivisions, which I don't know why you'd cut that, but okay. And then they also did something weird where that album was not produced by a guy named Terry Brown, and Terry Brown had produced every Rush album up to that one. And apparently Terry Brown went to him and said, hey, I'd like to do my version of this album. And they said, okay. And so it has a second version of the album as if Terry Brown had produced it.
Oh, that's cool.
Which is it's not radically different, but it is different enough. The original version was actually produced by a guy who had worked with Supertramp and later with Paul McCartney. And some people have said, like, they think the original is a little overproduced, and this is has a much more natural sound to it.
Excellent.
So yeah. And then next week, this is something close to my heart and to you, our old buddy Harold Goldberg, who people may know from being one of the long-term game writers, currently does a lot of stuff for the New York Times. He is releasing his first novel. It's called The Skinny. He describes it as a Polish noir mystery novel. Hence why the guy is called Stan Kaminsky. And it's set in New York City in the 1990s, and it just sounds really, really interesting. And so Monday there will be an interview up on my website with him talking about what inspired it, why he made the guy Polish, why it's not set in Los Angeles in the 1940s or wherever. So that'll be up next week, along with a couple other things.
And did you ask him what it's like being related to Bill Goldberg? That crappy...
No, because I don't think that they are related, even though they are both bald.
Had to check. But yes, check out these stories, and especially that interview next week with Harold Goldberg on paulsemel.com. There is a direct link on the Facebook and YouTube descriptions. I am super excited to learn more about Harold's book. And you should buy Harold's book because Harold is awesome. So, guys, if you want to help out the site, I appreciate likes, subscribes, and all that good stuff. You know what the best way to support this site is? It's to buy something for yourself. So why don't you go to Amazon, go buy an RPadTV t-shirt. You can have friends everywhere. You can have this awesome shirt with Filipino Americans. Ashley Seinfeld's, her movie just did really well at the Oscars or whatever the hell it was. You could be like Paul and be RPadTV certified guapo. Or you can be like Paul and drink out of this awesome RPadTV tumbler. Go to Amazon.com, search for RPadTV, and buy something nice for yourself or someone you love. Now, Paul, we talked about how this is a very different setting. They still go on space adventures, but the majority of the show is at Starfleet Academy in San Francisco. How do you think this, school drama, is it a nice different look at the world of Star Trek, or is it too different? Is that why some people don't like it? What?
I mean, I think that some people have a problem with it because it's not a space adventure all the time.
Yeah.
But despite the fact that they do go on space adventures, and the fact that we've gotten a lot of Star Trek space adventures. I mean, right, we literally just had 5 good seasons of Discovery. We're in the middle of a 5-season run of Strange New Worlds. Yeah, I mean, I thought it was a nice change of pace, but I also thought it was just what they were gonna do anyway. I mean, we said all along in this conversation. You said you wanted a show about Starfleet Academy. Well, that means you're going to have college kids getting drunk and fucking. That's what it's going to be. It's not going to be a space adventure, know. I mean, I do think there's something to be said for the fact that when people were talking about wanting a Starfleet Academy show, they started saying it during the era of the Next Generation. And that would have been a very different show by virtue of the fact that that's in the when the Federation is big and and all over the place, and in this show the Federation is in a rebuilding phase, so that certainly changes things. But I don't know. Like I said, complaining about the premise of the show.
I mean, I'm going to be completely honest. I was determined to like this show because my friend Maximo is probably the biggest Star Trek fan I know, and he absolutely hates it because I'm guessing because it's not a traditional Star Trek show. But I ended up liking it on its own because it's a different look at the Star Trek world. We get more of a look at the Academy, what their life is like, but there are still trappings that feel very familiar, especially in the last 2 episodes, where it felt more like a traditional Star Trek adventure. So I like that it gave me something new, a different slice of the Star Trek universe, but it still had a lot of things, a lot of races that we're familiar with.
Right. So the thing is, look, when they did Deep Space Nine, they said it's all going to take place on a space station. And originally people were like, I don't want that. I want them to go on space adventures. But then they wound up loving the show. Right. And you had the same thing happen with Lower Decks, where they said, first of all, it's animated. Second of all, it's a comedy. Third of all, it's about people like yeomen, in the lower rung of things. It's not going to be about the captain. Right. And they were like, and people were like, I don't know if I like that idea. And then of course they wound up getting really into it. So,
Yeah, I mean, we're kind of, let's stick on that subject because of the divide. Why do people want to hate this show? It almost reminds me of Star Wars. Like when the new movies came out, people are like, oh, it ruined my childhood. Like the people in the Gen X range who grew up with the original trilogy, they couldn't accept anything else being Star Wars. And it almost reminded me of something you said, where you said Star Wars is different things to different people. So
yeah,
the same thing can be true for Star Trek. Like you're a big fan of the original series, whereas because of when I watched the most Star Trek, it was during TNG. So that's what me and my friends watched at the time and what we talked about. So
Right.
maybe to a younger generation, Starfleet Academy will be the definitive Star Trek to them.
Oh, guaranteed. I mean, look, that's the one thing. Like with Star Wars, with Star Trek, there are people for whom the best show is Next Generation. There's people for whom Deep Space Nine is the next gen, is the best show.
Right.
I'm sure it didn't have a chance to find its audience really, but that Prodigy show probably would have done for Star Trek what Clone Wars did for Star Wars.
Yeah.
Be like that entry point for younger people.
But at the same time, you always have people complaining about, when Voyager and Deep Space Nine came out, they're like, oh, woman captain, oh, black captain, can't have that.
All right, yeah, let's throw that out because that's a moot argument. That's like people who complain about like Rage Against the Machine being too political or breakfast burritos being too delicious. Like, come on. I mean, I think that speaks more to a fundamental issue that we have where people, it's like I said to you earlier, it's like, if somebody is taking something from a franchise I like, but they're not doing it the way I would like them to do it. I don't get angry. I don't get pissy. Like I kind of go, oh, okay.
Sure. Like, why can't that be okay?
Yeah.
There are things that are not for me.
Right.
Like I always use Halo as an example of that. Halo as a game does nothing for me. I understand that it's really well made. I understand why it's so popular, but it's not my thing. But I don't I don't say Halo is stupid and bad,
Right. Yeah. There's a maturity there to that isn't always present in the fandom. But it's even more than that. It would be like if you were a fan of Halo and then they did that real-time strategy game Halo Wars and you were like, oh, fuck you and slag it off. And
right.
That's the thing. Like, it's okay to be like, oh, I wish they were doing this instead, but like,
but staying at that point, is Jaden a step too far for some Star Trek fans? Like, okay, you can make a pacifist Klingon that wants to be a doctor. You can do that. But making him gay too on top of that, was that too much for some Star Trek fans?
I'm sure it was for some. I mean, I'm sure it was for Stephen Miller, but like I don't give a fuck. Like,
yeah,
why can't he be gay and a pacifist?
Yeah.
I mean, I think the dumb thing would be to say like, oh, he's only a pacifist because he's gay. Like,
that makes no sense at all.
Yeah, but people would say, I'm sure somebody would probably say that, like, oh yeah, like, oh, of course, like the gay guy can't fight, so they have to make him a pacifist. Like, shut up. I mean, this is sort of the annoying thing about fandom these days is the fans. I mean, yeah, look, if somebody look, I'm pushing 60. If somebody my age who grew up watching Star Trek and loves it and whatnot watches this show and they're like, okay, this is not for me, I have no problem with that.
Sure.
I have no problem with people who were like, I tried to watch it, but I found the kids to be annoying, or I didn't find it as exciting as I want. That's fine. But to just be like, oh, it's fucking romance and this and that. Shut up. Go watch your Star Trek Blu-rays and leave me alone. Leave us alone. Why? I don't understand why people feel like they have to voice their opinion on everything.
Because they can now, and it's easy. Thanks, Zuckerberg.
It doesn't. Yeah. Well, it doesn't mean it's right. It doesn't mean it's good.
Okay. I don't know. I think that whole topic is stupid, and we have to talk about it. But I know I hate review bombing, and just because you don't like a character's sexuality or it's too diverse or whatever, that's so stupid.
Yeah, but I will say this: I do like that most of the time. Unfortunately, not all the time, but most of the time, that kind of stuff just gets thrown by the wayside.
Yeah, I mean, especially for Star Trek, though, where like people saying Star Trek is too woke. I mean, when the original show came out, to have a black woman in that prominent a role, that wasn't really a thing back then.
Oh, yeah, you're talking about. I mean, we've talked about this before. You're talking about a show in which the black woman thought about quitting, and then met Martin Luther King, who said, "This is the best show on television. I watch it with my family." This show was woke from the beginning. I mean, that's why
Yeah,
those. But as I said, like, it's nice that that kind of stuff gets sort of like dismissed, especially in a TV show. Like
right.
a movie, it's a little different because people have to pay. But like, if you already have Paramount Plus and you're a Star Trek fan, and somebody says like, "Oh, it's too woke," you're 99% of the potential audience is going to be like,
I
yeah,
mean,
whatever.
the future in Star Trek terms is supposed to be evolved and woke, is the way
Yeah,
to put it. So I don't know what that's about. But you mentioned that we are almost at the end of Strange New Worlds. We're in a first season of Starfleet Academy. From
right.
what I understand, the second season has already been filmed. It's already ready to go. It's just a matter of when they're going to release it, probably early next year. Where does this show fit into the larger Star Trek universe and where things are going? And what do you want from the second season?
I mean, well, we've said we want a Genesis centric story and a one about Gina Yashari. More of like, I know it's going to be set in the second year, so maybe we'll get a little more of them venturing out in space. What's exciting for me is the idea that these characters could turn up in later shows, like
Yeah,
after they graduate. Like, they could do, like, I think it would be really dumb if they were all assigned to the same ship.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, if they were on the USS Raymond, and like, and Genesis was the captain, and the Klingon was the doctor, and like, that would be too much. But like, if one or two of them like were on a ship together, and it was kind of like a Strange New World, but like with this cast, like, I would be really excited to see. But they're not ready for that yet. They're still
Right.
too young. They need to complete their schooling.
I hope that one of the bigger characters dies in season 2. I probably won't get my wish. I'm sure the actor doesn't
Now,
want that.
wait, do you mean you want a character to die, or is there a specific character
No,
that
no,
you want?
I didn't have anyone in mind. I mean, we had like some random Vulcan from the War Academy die. And,
Right,
we saw him throughout the series, but we didn't really get to know him aside from that he was in the War Academy and he pranked the students that we know from Starfleet Academy. But
right,
so when he died, it didn't really have any, oh, that guy died. That's too bad. Like, I want to see
right.
like one of the main characters die, whether it's a student or a teacher. Like, if they had this much trauma from random Vulcan boy dying, like, I want to see what happens when someone they care about and someone they know actually
Right.
dies. I don't know. Who would you pick if you had to kill off one of them? I mean, Darum kind of seems
I
like
mean,
the
the
most
first one that comes
disposable.
to mind is the Doctor, but I'm thinking the Doctor simply because he's been able to play that character for a long time, so you wouldn't be cutting off his career.
Right.
But that's not a good answer to the question.
And does it matter less when a photonic dies? That's an interesting philosophical question.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I think people would care just as much. I mean, look at
Well,
how
Sam
they
would.
reacted when they thought Sam was
Yeah.
really sick. I think it would have to be one of the 5 kids.
Hmm. So pick one. You have the power of life and death, Paul, and also viewers. Who would you kill?
I as much as I would hate to not see her on the show, Tarima.
Oh,
I'm
that's a
saying you
bold
kill
choice.
Tarima. She would be. I mean, I think Genesis would be the one that people would be the most upset about because everybody loves Genesis. But
Thanks to Phil Collins. Yes.
yeah. But I don't want them to kill off Genesis, so I'm gonna say Tarima.
That's interesting.
I think, yeah, because she, I think that would have a big impact on the student. But that said, if they were going to kill her off, they would have killed her off when she was killing everybody. So,
I mean, to me, Darum seems like the one that's easiest to kill.
yeah.
But will still have a big impact because he's tight with everyone.
Yeah, I agree with that. He's almost the too obvious.
Yeah, that's true as well. Yeah.
I think Genesis may be the one.
No.
I think that may have I don't want her to die, but
no, Bella Shepherd.
No, I want Bella Shepherd to have a long, fruitful career.
Oh, I forgot to use this screen of Drunk Sam, who I think was hilarious.
Oh, yeah.
I enjoyed that part of the episode. Drunk Sam is pretty funny.
Yeah.
Almost like drunk Data was hilarious too. So
right.
That absolutely worked.
Yes. Plus she didn't vomit glitter.
Okay, I like that part about Kyonians. What can he can't process alcohol and bananas because he lacks a lot of enzymes.
Yeah.
Like, okay, sure. I can dig it. But the glitter vomit thing I thought was pretty funny. All right, final words, Paul. If you had to recommend or not recommend this show to someone, what would you say to them about Starfleet Academy?
I would explain to them what it is and kind of the tone of it and what it's not, and say, if you go in knowing this and of being okay with this, you will probably enjoy this show. But if you're going into it thinking it's Alien of the Week and it's going to be action and adventure out in space, a la, the original series, Next Generation, etc., you're going to be disappointed or possibly disappointed. I think you have to know what it is. And then I would say something about the fact, and obviously what it is very obviously what it's supposed to be because it's about college kids in school. And,
So Paul, we're being pulled back into our previous topic by Jim Sutton, who said, weird topic. I wouldn't get rid of any characters at this stage. I want to see the characters develop more. I don't want
to see any of the characters die either. I think I think if they're gonna kill somebody off at some point, which is a thing you do in television now, it's got to be one of those kids for the biggest emotional impact. But
right, but I also think a death of someone that they know well and love, you would see the other characters develop more.
True.
So that's true. That's what I would like to see out of
that. Maybe they don't do that in season 2 then. Maybe they do it in season 3 or 4.
Yeah, I can see
I don't know how many years. I also don't know how long you're in Starfleet Academy for. Like in my head, I keep thinking
it's a 4-year program because it's college.
Yeah, exactly. I keep thinking it's a 4-year program because that's what our colleges are like. But I don't know if that's actually true.
Yes, and Jim Sutton agrees with you. And they do have a season 2.
Yes,
season 2 is done. They're just going to release it next year.
Yeah,
which is interesting.
The question is, what do they do for season 3? I
mean, yes,
they've said they want to bring back Paul Giamatti. Paul Giamatti wants to come back, so
yeah.
But it almost might be better wait for season 4. The end of or depending on when they decide to end the show.
Ooh. Have Paul Giamatti kill one of the kids in season 3. That'll amp things up a bit. So yeah, if I were to tell someone to watch this show, I would say, like, do you like Star Trek? Do you like teen dramas? If you said yes to both of these things, then you will like Starfleet Academy. The teen drama thing is the hardest part because that's not a traditional Star Trek thing, but I think this show did a good job of using that setting, and I can't wait to see more of it too. I'm excited for season 2. I hope this goes the full 5. Isn't what they give Star Trek shows now?
It's what they've given them the last couple times. So Discovery went 5, Strange New Worlds is going 5, Picard went 3 or 4. I don't remember.
Yeah, But I mean, that's
before it
also
ended.
part of an age thing too. So
Right. And I think Lower Decks only went 4.
yes.
So they used to go 7, but
that'll put a button on our Starfleet Academy review. I hope you guys liked the show as much as we did, or even if you didn't, please share your thoughts on what you thought of Starfleet Academy. Mac and I will be back next week, possibly with Lex as well. Thank you for watching RPadTV, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now.